Chelsea 2, Burnley 2, an absolutely embarrassing afternoon for everybody associated with Chelsea Football Club. The better team over the course of 90 minutes, you would say, yes, the better opportunities. They had the majority of the ball. Given a huge slice of luck in this game, with a very dubious penalty. And I would say, looking at Twitter and listening to what Chelsea fans said, a good 70 to 80% of Chelsea fans I follow said, wow, we were lucky to get that penalty. Even luckier that the man ended up getting a second yellow card. But Chelsea are 1-0 up. You're playing the worst team in the league at home, 1-0 up against 10 men. Their manager sent off, and Chelsea drop the ball. Chelsea get baptized, circumcised, absolutely ripped apart, my size, cut to ribbons, really, from a perspective of ego. Beaten down twice, winning and dragged back. This will feel like a loss in every single which way. This is an abomination. This is an embarrassment, and Poch should be handing his notice in at the door right about now. And I want to say about this game as well. This game was crazy. Look, they had 33 shots on goal today, Chelsea, which is a huge amount, 13 on target. But let us not get it twisted that Burnley had 7 shots on target. They genuinely did. 18 attempts with 10 men for a large part of that game. More than half the game, and they had 18 shots at your ground. That is now 10 goals conceded in the last 5 matches for Chelsea. And look, Poch isn't to blame for some of the awful moments from Jackson. The miss at the end from Raheem Sterling as an example. And there was some good play today. Look, I think Gusto and I think Cole Palmer walk away with their heads held firmly high. There were some really good attacking runs from Mykhailo Mudryk on that left-hand side. But the midfield, again, yes, they had 70% of the ball, but did they control the game? Especially when it was 11v11? The answer is no. Chelsea are a bona fireball, absolute crazy mess. And it isn't just Poch that needs to go. The fans have got to force huge change at board level, huge change in terms of who's running this football club. A number of these players are not good enough for your great club. It is as simple and as straightforward as that. And I'm sort of flabbergasted. I'm almost lost for words, genuinely, because you didn't lose. But I'm actually talking in some of the words I've used today. It's like it's a loss. And Chelsea fans, it should feel like a loss, because today is one of the most embarrassing results you've had in the last 20 years. The worst team in the league, down to 10 men, you're 1-0 up, and you cannot see the job through. You do not finish your dinner. You cannot control the game. And that is listen, poor quality from lots of the players out there today. Poor quality indeed. But the manager again, and I'm going to say this, and I'll say it again and again and again, I see this Chelsea team as a reflection of Poch. And I know that there's things at the top that are also an issue. There are problems that are beyond him that will still persist, even if you just change the manager. I understand it. I'm not putting it all on him. But Poch has got to go. A number of these players has got to move on. And the way your club has run has got to change, because this was a shoo-in. This was a gimme. This was an opportunity to move yourself, maybe not necessarily up the league table, but you could have gone above Wolves today with a win. But now you sit there in 11th, no matter what happens this weekend. You could drop down to 12th. Oh, actually, Fulham already played. I think Fulham have already played, actually. I'm an idiot. Sorry. That's my bad. I weren't to keep an eye on the other scores. But it's absolutely crazy. You're playing Manchester United next. Your record recently has been poor. And if United get a good result tonight, they'll fancy their chances at Stamford Bridge with how you play and our recent history of games against one another. I know you're still in the FA Cup and it's all about that, but today was an absolute embarrassment. And it isn't just on Poch. I've criticised him and I stand by what I've said, but so many of the players, Raheem Sterling, Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo, for me, your defenders. I think both your centre-backs today, and yes, some Chelsea fans will defend them because of a good moment, some good play, but they got ripped to shreds far too often in this game. And of course, your goalkeeper. I forgot about the goalkeeper. Absolute abomination when it came to that save. I want to go to some of your comments that have come through here. David says Chelsea could have even cheat themselves into a victory. I will say about the penalty as well, it wasn't one. And it isn't a dig at Chelsea because I don't think it's Chelsea's fault. In real time, it maybe looked like a pull, but when you watch the replays, you could see he does touch him and put his arm on his shoulder. But there was no real pull, and Mudryk went straight down. So being pulled backwards doesn't make you go down. And they should have looked at the replay and said, ref, I think we've been conned here. They should have removed it, said no foul, no yellow card, and played on, in my humble opinion. The inconsistency surrounding this deal, though, do you remember the two that Chelsea should have had against against Liverpool, and they weren't given them? How can this be one, but them two are not? How, by the way, can we say that Bruno Fernandes should have been stronger last week when he was pushed in the back? But today, one little slight hand on the shoulder makes Mykhailo Mudryk drop to the floor. Crazy. Never a penalty in a month of Sundays. So, look, Burnley will probably look at it and still feel hard done by from the perspective of if they grabbed a 2-2 draw with 10 men, what could they have done with an extra player? They could have even beaten Chelsea today. So they should still feel frustrated. They should still feel annoyed. They should still feel angry at that decision. And I know some Chelsea fans will say cry more. That will probably be the reaction. And well, we've had bad decisions as well. But for me, I look at it, most Chelsea fans that I know and respect have been very honest about this and said, at the very least, they've said very soft penalty, shouldn't have been a second yellow. At the very least. For me, it's not a foul. He wasn't even under control of the ball. He'd lost control of the ball when you watch it back. And VAR was brought in to make sure we get the right decisions. This notion of, well, there's no clear and obvious mistake. Well, there is. Because you didn't give the fouls to Conor Gallagher and said why, because there wasn't enough contact. You said Bruno's wasn't a foul because there wasn't enough contact. There was actually a studs to the chest penalty a few weeks ago where you said there wasn't enough force on it. But suddenly one hand on the shoulder is enough to make Mudryk go down. And it's a penalty. Come on, we're not buying it. And I get Chelsea fans are going to celebrate the penalty. I've got no issue with that. But let's not sit here and try and twist that into saying, yeah, definite foul, 100%. That if any of us concede that, we're angry, and we damn well should be. But that's what makes this, and I'm going to call it an L. That's what makes this L for Chelsea even bigger, even more potent, even more frustrating. The L is bigger because they got that slice of luck. They were down to 10 men. They were leading 1-0. They were dominating the game in terms of efforts, but some poor moments defensively, some brain fart moments, and then a team with no confidence and a team with no bottle, and they absolutely fell apart. We'll come to the Spurs stuff in a moment. Chelsea, what a banter club is what Damon says here. Madueke should hang his boots and should become a drill rapper. Big up, Terry. Love the terrace ever since I found it. Thank you. Why would he be a drill rapper? Does he do drill? I don't get it. I don't get why you said drill rapper, but yeah, I don't think he's that good a football player. I think Madueke is one of these individuals, great technical ability in terms of dribbling, really fast dribbler, got really good skills, but there is too often zero end product. He is a lingerie shop without a window. Absolutely pointless. Chelsea didn't turn up, weren't up for it. Hate international breaks is what Gav says here. Yeah, Gav, I can feel that. I can understand that as a Chelsea fan, why you would feel that way. My prediction almost came through. Mate, it did. And do you know what I'll say, Dio? A lot of people laughed at Dio yesterday when he predicted Burnley to win. Now, his prediction wasn't right, but Dio was a lot closer than the rest of us on Straight Facts and the Top 6 show. We all predicted fairly comfortable Chelsea wins. Dio, I think he said 3-2 to Burnley, if I'm not mistaken. So very, very close indeed to getting that right. Poch had the nerve to say they should be fourth. This is the thing, right? I remember once the Premier League, it was Sky made this league table. And this league table said something along the lines of, if Liverpool shots that have hit the post had gone in, this is how many more points they would have had, and they'd be second in the league and in the title race. I thought, well, if you could do that about any club shots off target, couldn't you? if the 50, 60, 70 shots were off target were on target and went in, every team would have more goals and more points. It's crazy. It's mental. It really is. Poch won't go. I'm convinced the owners look at this as losing to the fans. We have the emotion card left to play with Jose, but nobody else will join. You'll find other managers, in my opinion. I thought our game against Luton was embarrassing until I saw Chelsea's full-time result against Burnley. Truly shocking. Poch is delusional. I'll go on to Spurs in a little bit. Chelsea bought it all. Now can't even buy a win. Up the Arsenal is what's been said there. And by the way, so far, I don't know where the Chelsea fans are. None have come through yet. No Chelsea fans have come through. Carlito was telling me that he was going to come on and call me out for all my Chelsea conjecture recently. He hasn't showed up. Don, in fairness, told me earlier on today that he couldn't turn up. So in fairness to Don, that's what he said. But I don't know where the rest are. They've had the link. It's all been put in the group chats. They ain't showing up. Chelsea fans, where are you? Chelsea fans, where you at? Chelsea fans, come talk to us because you need to come speak about your club. Hang on. Okay, sorry, I was just reading the message. But I don't know where the Chelsea fans are at. I'm going to share the link in the live comment section. Maybe some Chelsea fans watching will call in, but all the others that told me they were coming on, I'm sure Winter Surfer will be here. He's not a bottle job. The rest of them that promised to come on, there's about 4 of them said, yeah, mate, I'll be there. Where they at? Where they at? I don't know where they are. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Mount giving Chelsea the dagger on Thursday. Listen, if imagine Mount gets the winner on Thursday. Oh, my gosh. Do you know what would be even better than that? Just from a United perspective. Mount getting the winner in the FA Cup final against them. Get Don to come face this shambles. Yeah, I don't know where Don is. I don't think Don will be coming on today. I don't think he'll be on. Chelsea fans, don't compare this club to Man U. Listen, that's why I want to beat him. If we could win tonight and then beat them, then it puts mine and Don's debate to bed, doesn't it? This is, I wonder what Poch defenders' excuses are after the second half. This team talk completely ruined everything. Plus drawing to 10 men Burnley should be a sackable offence. Why is he still here? I remember Don calling this out, and Don is spot on about this when he said that the halftime team talks are absolute killers from Poch. And it's another one. You go in 1-0 up late against 10 men, you come out and concede in a few minutes. Flat beyond flat beyond flat. And Chelsea fans should be nothing but fuming, absolutely fuming when it comes to that. No doubt about it whatsoever. Jerome here talking. I'm just going to make a note of when we started these super chats in the comment section. Jerome says, struggling against a depleted Luton team. Even if we won, I'm furious at the performance today. Any Spurs fan happy about this is deluded, fuming. Listen, I'm going to get the Spurs fans out in a minute. I don't think Spurs fans should feel unhappy. I don't know. I watched your game. I thought you played quite well. You weren't very clinical. I give you that. You conceded early. You weren't clinical. I thought your overall play was good. I thought Spurs were, again, I'm only watching as a neutral. I thought Spurs were all right today. You're not going to play well like that and win it comfortably all the time. Sometimes you kind of have to go through the peaks and the troughs and meander a little bit. I didn't think Spurs were bad. I get as a Spurs fan, you'll see it differently to me because there's emotion involved. But I mean, I put a bet with 15 minutes to go. I put quite a substantial, I had a little flutter. I stuck a few £100 on Spurs to win because I was very sure you were going to do it. So I kind of cheered Son's goal because it's paid for my brother's birthday tonight and it's helped pay for dinner. So thank you, Son. Cheers, bruv. Nice one, Sonny. But there we go. Ornstein says Liverpool after Inzaghi. Thoughts? Random for this stream, but very good manager. If they get him, he'll be a top-class manager for them. These first-half performances are killing me, is what Cal says. Listen, I understand why. I do understand why. We're going to bring some of the panel right now. We have some people backstage that will get you out a little bit later, but we've got on the show here today. We've got Kate. We've got Man Like George. We've got young Daniel. We've got Ziad is here with us as well. Fayaz is here as well. We'll get these boys out. Jacob's here, and we'll bring some more of you out soon. Welcome back to the show, everybody. We are going to come to Chelsea, but Ziad, sorry, we're going to come to Spurs, but Ziad, Chelsea today, leading up against 10 men, and you end up with just a singular point. Another embarrassing day. Talk to us.
Yeah, quick one, Terry. I want to come here, have my say, because it is my birthday, so I'm going to head off. And
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Same
you know what?
Same day as my brother. I like that.
Big up
That's
to your
all
brother,
right.
man. Big up to your brother. Yeah, man, listen, this whole season has been embarrassing, but I honestly didn't think it would get this bad. Honestly, this is terrible. Burnley, worst team in the league. Their manager got sent off. Their player got sent off. Everyone's got sent off. Look, see, family's rolling in the middle of his bloody interview at my birthday. What you call it? So yeah, their player got sent off. Their manager got sent off, and everyone's got sent off. And then we played that bad. And then yeah, Pochettino, I don't know what to tell you, bro. I don't know what to tell you. He's got to go. And then what else is his name? Mudryk, bad moments, good moments. Don't know what to say about that. You know, the whole team's been bad, but I didn't think it would get this bad because end of the day, Burnley, worst team in the league, and then you've got what's the name going on? Pochettino and then company. Listen, Terry, I'm gonna have to head off in 2 seconds. I'll come back, because this is ridiculous. 1 second.
No worries, my man. Listen, it's his birthday. He's got stuff that's going on. Faiz, Chelsea today. I mean, just beyond embarrassing.
There's one thing I don't understand. Why do some Chelsea fans think they're better than United? They spent over $1 billion in a year and a half or so, and they still think they're better than United. We suck. We're terrible. Don't get me wrong here. I don't understand this. I don't get it. Freaking Burnley at Stamford Bridge, 2-2. Enzo Fernandez, Carlito. Oh my God, we got all these great players. At some point, there comes a point where Chelsea fans, it's not just Poch. It's not just the ownership. Some of these players are not good enough. Now, I understand a lot of them are young. I get that. You need experience. I understand that. You give players time. I'm not one of those fans who think, oh, it didn't work year one. You know what? He's garbage. No, give him time. I get that. A year or two or so. But at what point do they start saying to themselves that, you know what, this is more beyond Poch? And don't get me wrong, Poch probably has to go. I'm not saying that. I think he's a good coach, but this is, I don't know. I'm speechless. I'm honestly speechless at this point. Freaking Burnley.
I hear you. I want to throw this out to George. I want to throw this to you, bro. We've been on a lot of streams this year. I know he can't hear to defend himself, but we've been on a lot of streams where, and I know Poch made mistakes today, but these players, the midfield, they are consistently defended by Chelsea fans, and they either put it all on Poch or they put it all on, you know, the ownership, where they're big. They are largely responsible, and I think Poch does need to go. But some of these players, the chances they're missing, the mistakes they're making, but a lot of Chelsea fans still living in cloud cuckoo land where they think, get a new manager, we're back in the big time.
Honestly, it's just a joke. It's a joke at this point because, like you said, I didn't want to allude to the people that aren't here, but time and time again, the players are just getting out and scapegoat that is apparently Poch. The amount of chances Chelsea created today, he coached to win. He coached the team to score goals. Man. You guys had plenty of times where you're in opportunities to put the ball in the back of the net. You're looking at Cole Palmer. Yes, had a great performance, scoring 2 goals. And then your defense lets you down again. The transition, the set pieces for one. You guys, that's a very, very worrying. The amount of goals you concede from corners, free kicks, crosses, those types of goals. And then also you have to look at the amount. Like, you've gone 2-1 up. And then within minutes, like, you're letting them kick you on the transition, get down onto your edge of the bricks and just cause you problems. Like, I can't see how any Chelsea fans can look. Poch has to take some blame, and I'm not going to sit there and take this away from him. But you have to look at your players. This is a player problem bigger than anything, because if this was Spurs and I'm seeing my team go 2-1 up constantly, they're scoring goals. He's putting but then they're conceding. The defensive issues, you have to look at the players individually. They're just not doing good enough.
Sorry, I agree, George. I agree with you 100% there. You gotta have a lot of Chelsea fans out there saying it's Poch. No, when it's against Burnley, just like with the Carabao Cup against Liverpool, they had kids there. Enzo Fernandez, you won a World Cup. Carlito, you've been playing this league for 2-3 years. You had players on the field who can win this game. There are times, I get that the coaches are very important. I'm not like there are some Chelsea fans, I think Carlito who don't think the manager is very important. Manager is very important. I get that. However, games like this, if you don't win, it's on the players. more than the manager. It's on the players more than the manager. They either want him sacked or they just don't care. And Chelsea fans, you're stuck with these players for 8 freaking years now. For 8, they were chanting. I remember last year. Yeah, we want more players. We're spending all the money. Yeah. He's Todd Bowley. He's a genius. He's incredible. Todd and all that crap. Oh my god. Sorry, go ahead, Terry.
I'm confused. Are you a Chelsea fan? Are you a Chelsea fan?
No,
I'm a United fan. But
You seem so like passionate and infuriated
I'll
about
tell you what,
Chelsea. You seem like a Chelsea.
I
I don't know. I'll
tell you what. I'm an economist. So I study, antitrust, and I love. I'm like Terry. I look at the fans. I believe this game is for the fans. I don't like these billionaires coming in there, these oil states coming in there, spending all the money. And again, I feel like they've taken the game away from us. You have these billionaires, these arrogant billionaires coming in the game, like Todd B, for example, and the Glazers and so forth. They're ruining these clubs. And you have fans out there, more money. I don't get it, man. The structure of Chelsea is not working. And any Chelsea fan who thinks that getting a Pochettino or buying that guy from what's his name again? God damn, that striker from Napoli. Buying Osherman and a defender here and there, it's going to make everything work out great. Oh, let's get rid of Sterling. Let's get rid of the players we don't like. Let's get the balls in the game. It's gonna work out great, excellent. I mean, the structure of your team is terrible. You're you're in the mud right now.
The whole structure of the club, not even.
I feel for them. I really feel for them. I feel for Chelsea fans. I really do. Oh,
I want to go back to Z here as a Chelsea fan. Look, I know that Poch is a big problem, and I think that there's elements of this team that are cowardly. There's huge mistakes he's made in terms of personnel that he picks. The halftime team talk seems to be a problem. But does there need to be a deeper conversation about the Enzo Fernandez, the Caicedos? I mean, Raheem Sterling is getting the heat, but the individual players are also not turning up on a regular basis as well.
Of course, Terry. Listen, at the end of the day, there are some players that shouldn't be here next season. But I'm not going to sit here and look at Enzo Fernandez and Moses Caicedo because they are players that I do want next season. End of the day, no one's going to sit here and tell me that when Pochettino leaves, we're going to sit here and challenge for the league or win the Champions League or easily get top 4. But I know for a fact that we won't be this bad. That's a fact. I know for a fact that I don't think so. We won't be this bad. We won't be sitting 11th. We won't be struggling against Burnley at home with 10 men and their bloody managers not even on the pitch. We won't be. I know that for a fact. Because some players do take criticism. But Enzo Fernandez, who I saw perform last season, right? This is not forget Benfica, forget the World Cup that everyone loves to bring up. Chelsea Football Club. He was wearing a Chelsea shirt and I saw him performing. Right? My own eyes, I saw him performing. So it's not making shit up. I'm not relying on what happened 6 months ago in Benfica shirt. I know he's performed, right? So when he comes in, Pochettino comes in, and everything around him is shit. Right, and there's never ever any players performing, and we rely on Cole Palmer, a guy that came from Man City being a bench player, and he's walked in, and the guy's got 21 GNA, right? We rely on Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer right now is our Eden Hazard. He's our Eden Hazard from a few years back. We rely on him on everything. Yes, some players got to take criticism, but I know these players are more than good enough to not be 11th because I've seen them perform. I've seen some of them perform, and I know for a fact we can sit and say $1 billion. They're not worthy of being sitting 11th. That's just simple as that. So when a new manager comes in, hopefully it's in the summer, we're not going to be 11th. I promise you that. We're going to be in the top 6.
What team ahead of you do you think that you're better than? Because I hear this far too often from Chelsea fans.
But I hear it bad as well because I hear Liverpool fans saying even with Jurgen Klopp we would be 8th max or 6th max. That's ridiculous, bro. That's embarrassing comment actually because right now we're only a couple points of 7th with this clown in charge. We're only a couple points of 7th. So if we had the actual manager in Jurgen Klopp or Pep, you're telling me we would be in a similar situation or similar position. It's nonsense. Yeah, there's some players got to take criticism and they got to take blame. But overall point is that this manager is not good enough. Right, and some players need to go fine, but we should be better than this.
Yeah, but what would you say? What would you say about the fact that last season under Graham Potter, Chelsea fans were saying the exact same thing? That once you got rid of Graham Potter, you wouldn't be 11th no more. You got rid of Graham Potter, you brought Pochettino, you're still 11th.
Well, first of all, I didn't even say Potter out until a very long time. Right, that's one of them. And second of all, it's a brand new squad. People always sit here and say, why did you spend £1 billion? Why did you bring in so many players? We got rid of more than half the squad from last year. Last year, like how many players from last year on the season on the squad now? 3, 4 players, and one of them is Reece James, who's basically not played all season. It's a brand new squad. So it's not the same situation at all.
I
But
get
that's
that,
the
but sometimes
problem.
the number of players, it's the type of players you're getting. Again, this policy of getting just kids, for example, it's not working. You need experience. It's the type. It's like United this year. We're gonna get rid of a lot of players this year. For example, we need to replace them. We can't get 19-year-olds and 20-year-olds. For example, you gotta get a balance between the two.
Look, yeah, look, I think here, I want to get some the additional Chelsea opinions. David's with us. Is this Poch? Is this the players, or is it a combination of the two?
It's more the players than it is Poch. I'm still confused.
Thank
Fuck
you.
my
I
life.
don't know how people are really going at Poch today. We created nearly 5 expected goals. We had the
Did
chances
we
to
play
win
well,
this game.
Daniel? Did we play well?
My name's David, first of all.
David, sorry.
Um,
Did we play well?
We played no. We actually didn't play dreadfully. We played well enough to win. We played well enough.
We played well enough to beat Burnley at home.
Did we play well enough? Did we create enough chances to win the game? Yes or no?
Daniel, do your standard?
No. It's a simple question. Did
we play well?
Answer my question.
So I asked you a question. You're responding with a
Can you
question.
just answer my question? Can you?
I asked you a question. You're responding with a question. Since when does that work?
Okay. What was your question? To me?
So your standard, to where you want to see Chelsea, right? Did we play well?
Did we play well? I'd argue it's a bit of a nothing performance. It wasn't amazing.
Brother, yes or no? Like
it wasn't a great performance, but it wasn't a terrible performance. Now, can you answer my question? Did we create enough chances to win the game?
100%.
So why are you going?
Because the overriding
because again, every manager in every league makes poor decisions throughout games. They all do it. Right?
Brother, it's March. We're in basically April. It's not the first 2 games of the week.
Can I finish my point? Can I finish my point?
Go on.
All these managers make mistakes, yeah, but their players will bail them out when they make those mistakes, or there will be an adjustment that's made. Now, if you really want to sit there and be as basic and think Poch goes into the dressing room at halftime, tells them all to just down tools and do nothing, and then we come out in the second half and nothing happens, you can be that basic. But realistically, you're not thinking properly. That first goal they score is a goal out of nothing. That's not that. I don't think you can really blame anyone for that goal. The guy shot it from 25 yards outside of the boot. It's hit almost the post and gone in. How are you blaming Poch on that? That's genuinely. These are Premier League footballers, and he's just scored a great goal. We then score a second goal, right? And then we get to the corner, and our goalkeeper, who's been fantastic, to be fair to him, he makes a mistake and the ball goes in the net. I'm just confused where Poch made this drastic mistake. Because if Disasi heads the ball with his head and not his arm, it's 3-2. If Sterling scores a goal when the ball has been crossed to him from 4 yards away, it's a goal, right? And this conversation is now. My whole point is that when you go throughout our season, not often, but in quite a lot of these games against smaller teams when we lose, we create enough chances to win the game, but our players do not convert those chances. Now, for me personally, I'm still not Poch out because I genuinely believe no matter who you put in this position, these players will keep making mistakes because they're all 20, 21 years old. I've said it for years. Young players, by definition, will make mistakes. They haven't got enough experience. The only way you're going to solve this problem is by adding more experience to the squad or letting the squad grow. Those are the only two things. The manager is not the be all and end all because it's not that basic of a situation. The squad's composition is wrong for winning right now. The squad is meant to be good in 2027, 2028. That's when it's meant to be good. So expecting consistent results in 2024, I keep telling everyone, is an unrealistic expectation. And if you have that expectation, you are just going to be left disappointed.
David, it's paper over the cracks. Even if Jackson took his chances or Sterling took his chance, it's paper over the cracks. Because like I asked
bro, we won this game 4-2. But then we would have won. We would have won this game. We would have won this game 4-2.
The question you struggle to answer
against both games against Wolves this year, we would have won both of them games by 2 or 3 goals. I can name you like 5, 6, 7 games this year that we've drawn or lost where you could give us another 16, 15 points. And our season is completely different because our players are not taking their chances, regardless. Before you even get to Poch, before you even consider Poch as an issue, our players themselves are still not of the level. They're just not, and it's not fine. But you have to think and go. all our players are 20 years old. Why am I expecting world-class consistency from them? I just don't get it.
Well, Raheem
I just
Sterling's
don't
not
get
20 years old, and I've never seen consistency from him.
But the thing is, again,
Chelsea,
what happened today? What happened today? Again, Terry, just before you carry on,
yeah, oh, mate,
Sterling got brought on, and every Chelsea fan I knew went, "Why is he doing this? Awful sub. He's bottled it again. What's he doing?" He then provided the assist for the goal, and I literally went, "This guy, he can't win because no matter what happens, he just can't do anything." And everyone's saying, "Oh yeah, he just plays players that are out of form." He's got no players left. We've got 12 injuries to key first team members. What do you want him to do?
I think you answered your own question. You answered your own question when you struggled to answer whether we played well or not against Burnley, who are 19th and got a man down or no manager.
But do Man City play their best football? Do you Man City play their best football every time they play Burnley? Yes or no?
We haven't played any good football in I don't know how long. So let's not comparing us to Man City.
Best football to beat Burnley.
But the way this makes me laugh. The way you speak is the way you speak is to make out as if we play well every single week, and this is a one-off. The players are supposed to hit
playing well.
Bail out Pochettino.
I'm not saying we are playing well. I'm saying we.
So when did we last play well?
We played well enough today to get 3 points, and that's the be all and end all of today's.
If that's how you see it, no problem.
I'm going to leave that debate there with you, gents. We've got Carlito that's joined us on here. He's a Chelsea fan as well. I understand. I heard you say when David said it's more on the players missing the chances. You said exactly or finally or something along those lines. That's the attacking side. In terms of the defensive element, the way that you're conceding a lot of goals. I know that one today was a mistake, but you were opened up a lot by Burnley. You've been leaking more chances in recent weeks. Is that the central midfield and the defenders also like the attackers not being good enough, or is that to do with Poch's defensive setup and how you're playing the game?
Yeah, look, these fans, the most vocal of the Chelsea fan base is also the most foolish. And they're also oftentimes the most young. You know, these are guys that are, I mean, Johnny's not young, but these are guys that are accusing the ownership of buying journalists. These are the fans that are accusing ownership of intentionally tanking the club and that Poch is secretly some, Spurs agent. None of these things are true. That's all QAnon nonsense. All right. The reality is this: in their head, they have a lot of confidence issues. Badiashile is in his own head. DeSassi is in his own head. And it's not even just about poor execution when you're defending set pieces. It's allowing those set pieces to exist in the first place. You're talking about tentative defending, just foolishly kicking a ball out to a corner and thinking that you did your job well. The last thing that Chelsea should be trying to do is give a team another corner kick or give a team another free kick, in the circular arc outside the box. Because right now we are horrendous at defending set pieces, and we have been all season. And I'm sure that Poch and his team of coaches, they're exasperating themselves. They're exhausting themselves, thinking, how can we fucking fix this? The reality is that this team in its current intimation is not good at defending set pieces. I know that we bought that guy from Brentford, the set piece specialist. Great. I don't know if he'll be here till next season, but for now, I think the reality is that you need to do damage control and be proactive instead of reactive, and just simply mitigate and nullify as many opportunities as you can for the other team. That means being very conscious of not giving up set pieces, being very conscious of not giving up corner kicks cheaply. Just heading a ball out, thinking that that's a good defensive.
And that's a fair point, but that all stems from how you're coached and trained, doesn't it?
Okay, Terry, let's be very clear. These guys are all big boys. They're all grown-ass men. They're all professionals here.
Yes.
And it's very interesting to me, the perspective that, in particular, English fans have about the player-coach dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
And they will always side with the players over the manager, because British people, as a culture, they favor labor over management. I get it. It was first a working class sport.
Hang on a minute, but that's just, I need to stop you there. One, you stop talking about people based on their passport and nationality. It's disgusting.
No, I just think.
Hang on. Let me stop you for a minute, because no one, whether they're British or American, no group of people are a monolith. We're not all the same because we have the same passport, first and foremost. So for me, I look at it this way. There are times when I've seen people back their manager. I see Liverpool fans in their droves last year when they struggled stand behind Jurgen Klopp. Some did, some didn't. There's a split because sometimes it's viewed in either way. The problem with yourself is that you have this belief that managers are only 10%, 20% of the overall quality of a team. I want to ask you a question away from Chelsea. If David Moyes was to coach this Manchester City team for the last 8 years, do you believe they would have won as many trophies as definitively as they have versus with Pep?
Oh no, but you're talking about a style of play thing. I mean, definitely not. Definitely not.
But I thought the coach is only 20%. It's the players, right?
Well, I mean, you definitely have 25% less trophies, Terry. Got you there, bud.
Okay, so you think that he wouldn't have won like 5 Premier Leagues, he would have won 4, David Moyes, with that team?
Sure. Look, no. Well, there's a very distinct.
That's the problem with your theory that managers are not that important. When you apply it and you start applying that logic across multiple examples, it falls down very, very quickly. Managers have always been an important part of not just sport. Managers and coaches in most sports all around the world are an extremely integral part. Even in singular sports, when someone might change a boxing coach or a tennis coach and they fall off for a period because the training doesn't suit them. Or you look at Anthony Joshua right now, change coaches, suddenly looks like a fighter of 4 or 5 years ago. So to act like coaches and managers are not integral to how good teams are is an absolute nonsense to me, mate.
Okay.
Man United, 2012-13 on the Ferguson. David Moyes, 13-14. Almost exact same squad. That's how you compare it. Almost exact same squad. We would have 1 player extra, 1st to 6th or 7th place. Just
okay. But Terry, because you did accuse me of something. I don't mean that it's a bad thing that British guys they back the players. I think that's good fandom, and I do understand. Like, I'm not like criticizing you guys and your economic stuff. Like, I'm really not doing that at all. I'm just saying that like they will blame the manager before the players. That's really my overarching point. Is that you will side with labor over management because I mean I think they just like the players more to begin with. But the reality is this, Terry, is that it is a lazy argument to blame the manager for everything because you want a boogeyman. And since they don't like him to begin with, this fan base does not like Pochettino. It's that Spurs stuff, which I think is ridiculous, but they don't like him.
Well, stop using this lazy argument, man.
I understand that point, but again, I'm not seeing many Chelsea fans say, sack Poch and everything's going to be fixed. They're talking about their owners. There's lots of players they want gone. It's a combination. But what I'm seeing from people is I actually think the biggest problem in the Chelsea fan base is some players, for instance, the Enzo Fernandez of this world, the better players are not facing the criticism they should. So what people are doing is they're hyper-focused on Gallagher or they're hyper-focused on Poch, as opposed to having conversations about your central defenders, your central midfielders that are meant to be the people that control the games and stop these leaking of opportunities, and they're not doing it. So everybody's kind of, like a bit of sleight of hand. I'm going to shout really loudly over here, so you're not looking at the real problems that are standing here. And I think it is multiple layered. Before we move on to Tottenham, Carlito, you said you wanted to call me out for some stuff I said about Chelsea.
Yeah, you're
get it done now before we move on to Spurs. What do you want to call me out for?
So your headlines are very curious, Terry. Now, I understand that you will hide behind the guise of I'm just speaking objectively, and this is what people are saying. Now, I like you, Terry. You know I do. But come on, man. Some of those headlines are so clickbaity, it's almost like you're fishing with a lure. Like, my man, Bowley is not being ousted. This is your headline. This is your headline. Todd Bowley to be removed as Chelsea chairman, but what does that mean? He's not being removed.
Okay. So I go back. That's on Twitter, not YouTube, right? So let me just say this.
No, but it's a link to your video. It's a link.
Hang on. Just let me respond.
Okay.
So is he going to be removed as your chairman?
He's not being removed. It's a transition of power.
So he's going to be removed as the chairman. Yes, changed.
Terry.
Okay,
you just like the word.
Yeah, so we'll find a different word to help you. Is your chairman going to change?
This was always going to happen. This is not news.
Yes,
It was never
yes,
news.
yes. So the answer's yes. Okay, yes.
Gary, are you playing the
Hang on.
intentionally naive card here?
No,
Really?
I'm not. I'm asking you to answer my questions for me and play along. So the answer is yes.
Okay.
The second part of the sentence was, so what does this mean? Because what we did on the show is exactly what that question suggests. He is going to be removed, but it's going to be in 2027. It's always been part of the plan. And as I said on the show, this is the complete nothing burger of a story, although some people got very excited very quickly and some rivals decided to laugh about it very quickly. So, yes, there is a provocative element of titles. Why do you do that? Because my subscribers and people that watch me every day don't care about my titles. They're going to watch. But you do want to have a provocative title that goes, oh, what's this? I fancy going to watch this. It's normal. And do you know who taught me how to do it and who showed me how to write it properly? My YouTube manager. He said, your titles are not good enough. This is how you should write a title on YouTube. So when people go, I don't like the titles, it's YouTube that tell us to do it that way. So thanks for calling me out on that. But there's nothing wrong with that title. And it isn't clickbait because we spoke about his pending removal and we spoke about what it's actually about. Clickbait is this: Todd Bowley no longer at Chelsea. And then we proceed to do a video about how to make scrambled egg.
That is what Chelsea facing Premier League expulsion. Come on, man.
Yes, hang on a minute. There are genuine headlines from the leading newspapers in the UK that Chelsea are facing Premier League expulsion if they are found guilty of multiple charges of FFP. For me not to be able to talk about that and put that in the title by being called clickbait is ridiculous, because they are genuine headlines from leading journalists about cheating that your club has self-reported about. So, Carlito, I know it's your club. You don't like seeing those headlines, but there's nothing inflammatory about it because that is what Chelsea are facing if they're found guilty.
Well, if there's nothing inflammatory about it, then why are you stoking the fire and saying, I want to be provocative? Terry, you know what you're doing. And look, again, I like you. This is not like criticism.
It's not about being provocative, as in me trying to be provocative. It's a story. But you're doing you're being, for me, a little bit of a baby. And you're doing what a lot of men
definitely being a baby. 100% being a baby.
You are. You sound like a man, but you're acting like a child. And the thing for me is this. Is that City fans have been doing it recently as well, where there'll be a really big story that comes out that reveals new evidence or a new direction their case is going in, and you talk about it and they get angry. And you're only angry about it because deep down inside, Carlito, you fear the worst that can happen to your club. So you're in your ostrich mode. You're in your denial mode of, I want everybody to stop speaking about it, because if we don't speak about it, maybe, just maybe, it will go away. And the terrorist isn't going to ignore stories that could damage the lives of millions of Chelsea fans around the world because some people at your club have been misbehaving. We're going to highlight it, talk about it and debate it. And that's what every single Chelsea fan should be doing every single day between now and when this is resolved. And if you're not and you're ignoring it, I'm calling every Chelsea fan out by saying you don't love your club if you're not challenging this stuff, because that's tough love and that's real love. Carlito, thank you very much. You're welcome to stay. I am going to come to Winter Surf.
I got to go. Thank you, though, Terry.
Okay,
thank you, buddy.
Thank you. Spurs. Kate, why are Spurs fans unhappy?
Do you know what? I think I've just lost a few brain cells just listening to that. I can't even cope.
I would offer you mine, Kate, but I haven't got any left either, so I would offer you mine.
Do you know what? You can't, please, Spurs fans. I've been witnessing meltdowns all afternoon. I can't deal with it. The first half was exactly what I expected it to be. It was slow. We soaked up the pressure. Yes, we let in a goal, but then I thought the second half was much better. I thought Dragushin had a much better game. We've had 6 wins now from our last 7 home games. Johnson again come on as a super sub, changed the game. Werner, Johnson both need to work on their finishing. But do you know what? We had 70% possession, 84% pass accuracy. I don't really understand where the negativity is coming from at this stage of the season. Who gives a shit whether we perform well? It's the 3 points.
Come on, Kate. I would say usually this is usually the other way around. It's usually me being optimistic and then you going, George, no, hold on there, and then you're giving me the realist. I'm gonna have to give you the realist right now. We were poor today. We were really, really, really bad today. And as much as I would like to be positive, and look at all the stats and say, do you know what? It's not all doom and gloom. It's not like, if you look side of the performance itself, it's not that bad, but performance that we had, it was just poor from back to front. I feel like It took far too long to get in the game. This is a Luton team that's littered with injuries, by the way. A lot of their big players are out and they're battling relegation. We're at home. In the first half, within 2 minutes on the transition, we get caught out, players out of position, and they find themselves 1-0 up. Yeah, look, it's unlucky at times, but that's just not good enough. I feel like the amount of times that we've conceded, like our amount of clean sheets we've had this season, we probably had like 4 or 5 clean sheets this season. As a team that's battling for top 4, it's just not good enough. I'm usually very optimistic about these wins, and I'll be like you, look, the 3 points are the 3 points, but I just wasn't convinced by this win that we're going to be progressing in the way that we need to be. The past couple of performances, apart from the Aston Villa one, have just been all like last minute. Crystal Palace, it was the last 20 minutes. We had a little run, get 2 or 3 goals. And even today, it felt like the last half hour, we started to build into the game. We started to find our feet, but we're just leaving it too little too late. And we needed Son to score in the 85th minute to then get the 2-1 win. And it's tight. It's tight. Even we've been in these positions before against the likes of Wolves and so on. And we go into the 90th minute, it looks a bit shaky. And we all know once a team builds momentum, they feel like they can come back in the game when there's 5 minutes left. You can't do that to a team like Luton. They only need 1 or 2 set pieces. And all of a sudden, look, it's 2-2. And we're 2 points down and we're not in the top 4 no more. So for me, I feel like today was just a lot of players were not turning up to performance that I needed to see. Maddison built into the game for the last 20 minutes, but that first half was poor. He felt like he was a shell. He didn't really want to take control of the game, and it felt like at half-time, Ange told him, this is your team. Show us this is your team. And he started to show a bit of it, but he got hooked. I heard he had maybe an injury, a muscle problem, one of those, but it just wasn't good enough today. I'm not going to lie. 2-1 win, but it did not feel like a win at all.
Yeah.
Dan, how about yourself? I mean, I get where you're coming from. I didn't think Spurs were that bad today, but then I'm not watching with any emotion. I just thought you weren't taking your chances, but I do hear you. What about yourself, Dan? You're very optimistic normally, but it does seem to be, George is right. Most of the optimistic fans are angry, and most of the perceived negative fans are buzzing. So I'm very confused today.
It's I guess like no offense to UK, but I feel like we have more like higher expectations on our team because we feel so positively about our team. So like when we put like a performance like this in the first time, no, I'm being serious, kid. I'm being dead serious. Like,
higher expectations that we're going to win the league at the start of the season.
Okay, I did not say that. I said
I think you did.
Okay, I said if without injuries, I literally said without injuries 1,000,000 times, we could be in a title race, but we wouldn't win the league. Terry, is that not what I said, or is that did I say something else?
I think you said that mostly. I think there was one game that you won where you came on and were like, we're winning the league and everything else.
That wasn't me. That was somebody else that looks like me that wears glasses, and his name is Harry.
It might have been Harry. I don't think he looks like you.
Yeah.
I don't think he looks like you. But no, I hear you, mate. But go on, back to your point.
I feel like the first half was way too slow. Way too slow. I was ready to get my pillow and sit here and go to sleep watching that first half. It was way too slow. The tempo was too slow. We weren't looking to get past the spaces. We were just like passing the ball there. Oh yeah, we're gonna pass the ball to the right, pass the ball to the left, and it was like slow. And I don't understand what happened. But when we came out from the second half, way faster, way better. That second half, that's how I want to see this team playing. That first half was disgraceful, and the way that we conceded that goal as well. The positioning from the defenders, I'm usually a big fan of this defense. I think we've got one of the best back lines in the Premier League. But the way that we were positioned in that moment, in that play, bro, Poro got screamed like this was the NBA. Dragusin was out of position. Udogie got turned by, I think it was Ross Barkley. I don't understand. No, it was who was it that turned Udogie? It doesn't matter. But he got turned by somebody. and I think that first goal, the way that every defender was stood was poor. But as Kay said, Brennan Johnson came on, the super sub. Nottingham Forest, I mean, do you want another 50 million? Because we could definitely give it to you, mate. We could definitely give it to you. Brennan Johnson, it's looking good for him right now. Last couple of games, he's been very, very good. But Brennan Johnson, I really like him in that position where we bring him off the bench in the second half. I think he's great at that. And last couple of streams, I said him playing on the left is a way better player than him playing on the right. Today, he played on the right and still was able to put up the good performance. So I need to keep seeing this from Brennan Johnson to keep giving him more praise and more praise and more praise. But second half was way better than the first, and the first half, I think, was too sluggish.
Do you know what? For me, I always knew you were going to win. I stuck a few pennies on it with like 15 minutes to go. But this is what Luton have done in quite a few away games and a lot of home games where everyone sort of beaten them, but it's not really been easy. Does that make sense? And teams can like Chelsea got like 3-1 up, and then it looks like they were going to collapse. And Man United 2-0 up in 2 minutes, 3 minutes. And everyone probably thought, oh, they're going to bang 5, 6, 7. And we just about got over the line. And Liverpool was they drew. So I think sometimes you have to look at the team and understand what they are and everything else. There's some super chats. This is Chelsea fans' self-esteem rests on 2 Champions Leagues.
What self-esteem?
I wrestle this one. Next season's.
Why have you got that in your room? Why the hell have you? Why has a Tottenham fan got a Champions League?
I don't understand why you've got that.
It's a pre-order. It's a pre-order. When we win it, I already got it here ready.
For 1,000 years time.
Don't try that. Your granddad's had that. It's been passed down from generations.
Carlito is a poser. Guy doesn't show his face so he can say dumb things and not get clipped up. Lazy commentary every time. Look, he's entitled to his opinions. I don't agree with a lot of them, but it's crazy. But yeah, I mean, you can call out the way I title things all you want, but I stand by my titles. Stand by them. They are facing expulsion from the Premier League if it goes wrong. I'm not. I'm out of popcorn already. It's like 2017 is what Guna Dan says here. Basically, David agrees with Poch's analysis, saying Chelsea's 4th by data, even if you expect Chelsea. But where David is a little bit where element of what David's saying is right is if you got rid of 50% of this squad that's like 21 years old and younger and made them 24, 25 years old and older. I even with Poch, I think you'd be higher up in the league. I think then you'd be higher up. But
that's nothing got to do with Poch, Terry. That would just be their experience, their individual experience.
I agree. So where I think David's right about a lot of your players. But then I do think that there isn't enough blame going on the manager because playing people out of position, some of his substitutions, some of these clearly what goes on at half time, there's a lull. These things are managerial. The way you're structured to conceding opportunities is managerial. So I think there's honestly truth in both. But for some reason, Chelsea fans seem to have, and I don't know if you see this, Winter Surfer, it's either you're one camp or the other, and there's very little balance in this.
No middle. There's no middle ground. It's either the manager or all the players' fault. Today it's both. Because we can't finish. We haven't been able to finish since 2017. You know, we've always had this issue with finishing. But I will say this: how many times I've been on saying from set pieces we're all over the place. It seems like we're playing zonal and man marking at the same time. I don't understand this. And also, why does he put like small, shorter footballers on the tallest people? I never understand that. What is he doing in training? He plays once a week. To say that a manager can't have impact and once a week is crazy. Andrew's had an impact in Spurs. They only play once a week, so why can't Poch have an impact? And Spurs have got a whole new squad together. Whether they're experienced or not, there's a whole new back four and goalkeeper, midfielder, and Son's the only real one that's been there throughout of all this. So why can't Poch do it? You know,
I agree. So, there's 2 small points. The first point about about Ange, for example, he's had a great first year. Ten Hag had a great year last year. I want to see next year what happens.
I don't want to see it.
We're cooking. Look.
Next year. This is Poch's first year.
Next year we're cooking.
Yeah, this is Poch's first year. I don't want to see his second year.
Yeah.
I'm from Chelsea. I'm talking about myself right now. So yeah,
I know.
Yeah, so again, Ten Hag took United from their worst ever end to the season to 3rd place in a cup, and from last year Tottenham or their 8th place, something like that, to like top 4, top 5. Great. I want to see how he goes next year before I judge him as a good manager or not.
I don't know if you, Terry, agree with this, but I think Man United played crap after the League Cup final onwards last season.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean,
it wasn't even like waiting this season.
Yeah, for 12 months, it's been pretty poor in most games. You're right. Today was a shit show. Spurs was weak. Chelsea absolutely crap. Fulham lost. I'm lost for words. As a gunner, I want Man United to win tonight. Well, so do I. Do you know what? I didn't watch any football until the 3:00 games. I can't wait to watch the highlights of the Newcastle game later. Terry, sorry, man. Watch Luton go against Arsenal next week, and they will destroy them 4 or 5 days. Yeah, I get that, but that's because Arsenal are a superior team to Spurs. In maybe not in head-to-head when they play each other, but they are, young Daniel. They are.
It's
superior.
Wait, Chill. Squad, yes. Starting 11? No.
But
Oh
no,
my
but you,
God.
but you know, do you want to know how you know that's not true? So what are they ahead of you now in the league points wise? What are they
That's
ahead of
down,
you?
in my opinion, that's down to the squad because of the injuries we face. The
Yeah,
backup that we have is
but
not good
judging.
enough.
Okay, but yeah, but they're sort of if they win tomorrow, they're going to be 10, 11 points ahead of you. They keep growing that. It's going to end up being like a 15-point gap. Last year, you have closed it slightly. It was a 20+ point gap. That points gap between the two of you is not the only indicator, but it's an indicator that they are a superior team. Because that's the same
squad.
difference. That's the same difference between you and Bournemouth, and you would say you're superior to Bournemouth, right?
Yeah, well, by far. But that's the thing, though. We also got we're superior to Bournemouth in 11 and in squad.
Dan. But football teams have never been about, not in the modern day game. They're not about your 11. They're about your
I
squad.
know.
That's
But
what
that-
I was
but
trying to
in
educate
the-
you at the start
in
of the season
seasons-
when you were saying we got a chance of winning the
Kate,
league when we had the
Kate,
likes of
Kate.
Dyer and Højbjerg. Dan,
I
please
did
stop
not say that.
talking.
I did not
Please
say that.
stop
I did not
talking.
say that.
Right.
I did not
Please
say that.
I'm running out of time. I've got to go for your super chats here. This is Petrovic has been good. Don't be so harsh because of a single mistake. Big up Palmer. The rest, though, dead. Don was very cringe yesterday. Yeah, look, he made a bad mistake. He's been good though, and I think he needs support rather than anything else. Cole Palmer's not really
He's made a
spoken
good
about.
save as well. in the same
I'm
game.
honestly,
Can I say something?
Man
Can I say
Man
something
United
about Palmer?
want to spend money in the summer. Go and buy Cole Palmer
No
off Chelsea
chance.
because
No
you
chance.
need
buy
some
Cole
money.
Palmer.
Get him. He's great.
400 million.
You need it. You need 200 million.
We don't need money. Come on, Terry. Man. No. Listen, we got enough
Financial fair
youngsters.
play.
We got enough youngsters to get rid of. We got enough Conor Gallagher, Trevor Chalobah, Ian Matson. The list goes on, man.
You're going to raise about £5.50 doing that. I think that Sam will blame the ref because he gave the red card because of which Chelsea drew and will not blame Poch. I pray Liverpool sign Poch next, please. Thank you, Zane. Is it possible to make things so toxic that the manager just resigns? Why are people still turning up at Stamford Bridge? Supporting their club, aren't they?
You see, though, but Terry, they can still turn up and walk out. Do you know what I mean?
No, I agree.
Instead of like waiting, we're getting rumors. Oh, they're waiting for a televised game. Why not just the games are watched all around the world? Even the 3 o'clock one today. Make a statement.
No, I agree. He is magic, Agent Pochettino. That's for the battle at the bridge. Thank you, Jerome. I hate when rivals are right. The midfield was getting run through, and our set pieces are just horrible. I agree. The midfield is a problem for Chelsea. Poch is my favorite Spurs agent. Don't sack him. Jack here says, so defensive structure is not on the coaching staff. This is obviously at Carlito. We have been conceding from crosses all season. It's not just about sacking. Listen, I got his point. He DM'd me and actually said the Brits care more about Labour than management because you care about workers, and in America we don't. And I agree with that to an extent. But if there's a manager that's got credit in the bank because he's actually, or he's got a great CV and the football looks good, but it's individual mistakes, we do go for the players. We don't go for the manager. But where I agree with Ziad, with your argument with David, where David is wrong, but I just let you guys do it, is the performances are not sustainable. So yes, you might win some of these games, but it's a bit of a basketball match, and you need to
be the crux.
Yeah, I agree. Chelsea are trying to get the #1 draft pick. Poch is 70% of the problem, in my opinion. How can a manager say he doesn't have a main penalty taker? That tells me he doesn't have tactics either. He just lets them do whatever.
Wait, what?
Fair point. David is the same person who doesn't watch Chelsea games, by the way. I said that recently. I don't know why in football people blame the manager for in-game play. Players play the game, and Chelsea players are not good enough. Thank you, Ray. I appreciate that. Will be tough to be good in 4 years when teams like Arsenal are just as young and top of the league. Even United with Garnacho and Mainu are just as young and outperforming Chelsea, not outperforming anybody else right now. But yeah, Carlito, when did you start watching football? I'm not too sure. One of the best backlines in the world, Spurs fan. Spurs.
It's true. It's Terry. We've got
43. It's not one of the best. We've got
3 arguably of our players from our 4 of our back line in the team of the season in the Premier League. 3 arguably.
No, you haven't.
Hang on a minute, Dan. Very quickly, ask me this question: how can you have 3 of the 4 of the back line in team of the season when you've conceded more goals than Man United, who are being laughed at?
Well, because half of the season we were playing. Well, not half of the season, but for a large part of the season we were playing with fullbacks in our back 4 because of the injuries that have
So
taken.
You never like that.
Hang on a minute. So how can you have players in team of the year if half the season they were missing anyway?
They weren't missing half of the season, but most of the goals we conceded from that number was when they were playing, when we had Emerson Royale and Ben Davis playing in the back four.
Are
Plus,
you sure about that?
With the
It's
way
not
that
true.
we play
I'm just
football,
going to say,
we allow a
it's
lot of
not
chances.
true.
If the way that
Terry-
we play football, we allow
sorry.
a lot of chances as well.
Terry, is Zlatan better than R9 because statistically he's 24.5% more efficient in front of goal? Stop the stupid argument with Hazard Salah. You're telling me
Random. That's so random.
so again, but now you're comparing over a longer period of time. So no, at their peaks, we absolutely know who is better, and I think there is actually a clear distinction between the two. But if you were going to turn around to me and say Messi or R9, where there is a much closer argument, like with Hazard and Mo Salah, that's when I would start looking at the efficiency and longevity and go with Lionel Messi. Because even though at his peak you could argue R9 was better, we know what we know now, and Messi's going to go on into his 30s and be the best ever. You can't compare Zlatan with R9 because there's a differential between quality of player. You have to compare R9 with one of the other greats like a Messi or a Ronaldo, just as we did with Hazard and Mo Salah. So what you're doing there is a reframing of the argument to try and win. And it's thank you for the super chat, but it's not late enough and I'm not drunk enough to be caught on that one. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. This is your
your titles are good, but your scared thumbnail all night mess fuel.
It's just a picture. How can I get on the Arsenal panel tomorrow? We'll send the link out tomorrow, brother. Pray for Kate for having to listen to us waffle. Thank you, Manny. Should I follow your Twitter? Yeah, send me a DM. We'll go from there. Look, I've got to shoot because it's my brother's 40th today. I'm going to go for he's that dedicated down to the football terrace. I'm going for his dinner, and then I'm coming back to do the Man United game, and then I'm going to his and then I'm going to his party. So I will. It's got to be done. I've got to work. Also, KJ's still on holiday until Monday, so I've got no staff. So if KJ was here, I wouldn't be doing it. But I must have. It's like this anyway. Take care. Goodbye. I had no idea what I was going to say. It's already been a day. Do you know what I mean? We've already had a few sherbets. Listen, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all very